So here's the cartoon version of the immune response. I like to start off with a wanted poster. This is the Wyricks, and he is wanted, dead or alive, for vaccines. There is a reward. So we're looking for the virus and the bad guy bandits. Here is Sheriff Mac Rophage. I call him Sheriff Mac because that's just his name. You will know it's Sheriff Mac because he will be wearing his dinky little hat, his weird little vest. He is always purple, and he has a sheriff's star. Macrophage just means big eater, if we were to break it into word parts, and that's what Sheriff Mac does. He's a big eater. When he sees a virus in the body, he's going to eat the virus. That's his job. Once Sheriff Mac eats, quote unquote, the virus, he's able to kind of identify those antigens, the antigen guns that the virus had on him, and he actually can show the other cells those antigen guns that he found. And so that's how he actually activates the other cells in the immune response process. Now, what we're looking at is going to be a specific immune response since it's based on the specific antigen guns that virus and the bad guy bandits happen to have. So the helper T cell sees the antigens. For the most part, his job is just to activate the B cell. So I've got my weird looking little T cell, and he says, "Hey B, we need some help over here with the outlaws," because he knows that Sheriff Mac needed some assistance. And then B says B right there. So the B cell will come over and read the antigens that Sheriff Mac happened to find. And he makes millions of copies of antibodies. Now, antibodies are specific for each antigen. So this is like if you ever get a vaccination, you're getting a little bit of that particular virus so that your body will make these antibodies so that your body knows when it sees this particular bad guy, it's going to attack it. In this instance, my antibody happens to have antigen guns, and they essentially work like handcuffs. When my antibody goes out and captures my virus, you'll see that there is a matchup of the handcuff on the antibody to the antigen gun, so that way they can be disarmed. So the antibodies go out and capture the virus that is coded specifically by the antigen. So, my B cell says, "Get 'em, boys," and my little antibodies like to say, "You betcha." So the antibody is going to capture the virus, hence the gotcha. And you see that he is holding on to one of his specific antigen guns. And then he's going to signal for Sheriff Mac, the macrophage, to come over and gobble them both up. It seems kind of weird that Sheriff Mac eats the antibody and the virus, but he does eat both. And what actually happens is Sheriff Mac is capable of reusing the antibody and even the virus parts if the cell needs repairs or anything like that. It can reuse the particular proteins that are used as long as they're not, broken or mutated or anything like that. So in the end, the suppressor T cell is kind of like everybody's boss. The job of the suppressor T cell is to stop the B cells and the T cells from their response once the infection is gone. So I've got my suppressor T cell saying, "Good work, men." But before he turns everybody off, the B cell makes memory cells for the next time your body is invaded by a particular pathogen. That way, the memory cells say, "Oh, hey, we fought this guy before," and I like to use stars for them because they're like aspiring kids that want to grow up and be, just like Sheriff Mac. In real life, they're not actually like that, but they're going to remember how to make the antibody to fight the particular bad guy that your body happens to have.